All right, so real quick, we're going to run through a couple of things pertaining to logging in order to get you up to speed on how to create a proper log, how to fly a proper log, and just checking to make sure that you're going to be logging flights the right way. If you got a drone from us, built from us, whether it's a center lifter, a micro drone, or whatever, if it has logging ability on its flight controller, we should have already had this set up for you. We're just going to go through a couple of kind of house cleaning things and just tips and tricks because there are some things you need to know. So here we have a squirt, but again, it doesn't matter what you're flying. We're going to go into beta flight, which is already connected, and we're going to go into our black box tab. Now, it may look slightly different depending on your flight controller, whether you have onboard flash or if you have an SD card, but don't worry, that's not of concern. The two areas that we're looking are black box logging rate right here and black box debug mode. So these need to be set to 1 kilohertz and gyro scaled. No matter how many gyros you have or how many you think you have, always set this to just gyro scaled. If it was already set like that, you don't need to do anything necessarily quite yet. But if it was not set this way and you made changes, we are going to hit save and reboot. That's going to take a second. It's going to cycle through the flight controller. You're going to see it flash, and it's going to come back up. Whenever it comes back and can be connected, we're going to run back into black box. Now, here's where I'm going to show you how to save the black box file, because as you see, this one is actually 100% filled. There's 0 up here in the top right. There's 0 bytes left, and it's used all 16 megabits. So we're going to jump ahead a little bit to what I said was going to be kind of the last thing, but we're going to show you how to save that now. If you would have already have gone out and flown your flights, then to save the file, we're going to click right here. It's the easiest way. And we're going to go ahead and type in some sort of naming convention that helps us identify what this is for. So we would put your name, we would put the type of drone, we would put maybe the voltage, and we might even put something like vibration at mid throttle. And then just hit enter, and it's going to take a few minutes to save. As that's saving, don't interrupt it, don't disconnect anything, just let it save. Again, this is going to take kind of, I don't know, a brief minute or so, depending on how many megabits you have, depends on how long this takes. As you can see, we're already, I don't know, about 10% through, so it shouldn't take too much longer. All right, so once that data flash file is saved, now we have the logs off the drone. Again, this is kind of a forward step here after you would go do your flights, but for now, we're going to go ahead and show it to you. Next up, because this is full, in order for us to actually run logging, we need to erase that flash. So we're going to now erase that. Like it said in the little pop-up, it's going to take about 20 seconds for this to happen. When it's complete, we will have a fresh, ready to go logging setup. And we will only need to really go check one more thing. So this is almost done probably. Let's go ahead and finish this up. All right, so now that that's finished, we need to go check one last thing. We've got a clear, free, fresh space on our logging chip. So now we need to go into modes. And again, this should already be set up, but if you've gone in and changed a few things, this may not be set up. So what we're looking for is the arming switch, which is here, is set to aux1 or auxiliary 1, which is channel 5. On yours, it may be set to something else. Not a worry, that's fine. But what we are looking for is we are looking for black box, and we need to make sure that this range is also set to the same channel and the same setting. So here, black box, and this again should technically already be done on this board. We had already cleared it off for some reason, but on yours, it should already be active. If not, no problem. We're just gonna set this to the exact same channel, and we're gonna slide that slider open all the way to the side that it's at for arming. This way, now when I arm the drone, we also start logging. We're going to make sure that we hit save in the bottom right corner, otherwise none of these will take effect. So now that we've hit save, those are ready to go. We now are ready to go run a logging flight. So what does that mean, and how do I get a proper log? And how do I fly in order to get the data that we need in order for you to actually provide data that makes for a tune that's going to change something? So really simple stuff. Again, this is a squirt, but it doesn't matter if you're flying a squirt or a Cinelifter, anything. It's this flight pattern is going to matter no matter what. This is what you're going to do. So what we're looking for while you're testing the tune on this is you can do this either line of sight in the goggles or a little bit of both. I'll tell you that I can do this in a good open space, like for instance, even indoors in our shop. I can do this pretty much line of sight, and I'm pretty comfortable doing it. But that's something that I've gotten myself up to being able to do. If you don't feel comfortable doing it line of sight, that's fine. But what we need in one complete flight without any bumping into stuff or crashing or too much wind necessarily can also affect this. But in reality, the biggest thing is not bumping around or banging into stuff. What we need is to be hovering. So you're going to hover, and you need to do some punch outs. So full throttle up and then let it all the way down to fall, all the way up, let it down to fall. Throttle punching for maybe 2 seconds at most. Nothing crazy, just getting a good throttle, like high throttle punch out, a couple of them kind of jumping up and down. So you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to yaw left and right kind of quickly with full stick deflect if you can. Don't worry, it's going to kind of pop up a little bit at times, probably. Not a big deal. Just yaw left, yaw right, yaw left, yaw right, and that's going to be kind of our yaw movement. On our roll, we're going to roll left, roll right, roll left, roll right, roll left, roll right. And again, just keeping to come back to center and just kind of testing that roll PID setup. Next, we're going to do pitch. So I'm going to turn it sideways. And again, you're going to do forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, and do that a few times. So now that we've got all the axes all kind of punched and full stick deflected, now what we need to do is we need to go and do a couple of high speed runs. So straight and just holding the throttle at about 3/4 or, moderate pace with the pitch all the way at an angle that makes it nice and fast. And you're going to just basically cruise for 3 seconds with no sticks touching. So you don't have to let off the sticks, but try not to move the sticks. I mean, letting off the sticks is not a bad deal, but you're just getting that kind of fast-paced forward movement. The next thing that we need is a moderate. So like your average speed when you're flying whatever you're shooting, do the same thing. You're going to let it fly for about 3 seconds without you touching any stick inputs. And then you can go ahead and grab the sticks. At that time is where I like to go ahead and do high-speed turn runs. So going around something, so something that induces prop wash, you want to go ahead and get one of those nice high-speed 180-degree kind of 90-degree turns, right? Something that is like high performance and shows all of those movements. Lastly, and this is, whether we need it or not, it is good to do. Whether you're going to be doing rolls and flips, it is actually something we need is rolling and flipping forward and backwards. So rolling left, rolling right, and flipping forward and backwards. And doing 1 or 2 of those is really key to making sure that we get everything locked down with the D movement and those snap rolls and things like that. That's a huge part of the tuning. So once you do that, bring it in and just land it. After that, you're going to bring it into beta flight again, like we showed you, and you're going to save that file for us and send it to us. So hopefully this helps you understand how to do some logging and how to do your flights. With this data, we should be able to extrapolate enough to go ahead and get you kind of an additional tune for your setup that kind of matches your payload. And again, the reason we do need to do this from time to time is payloads vary, payloads change in the way that they're shifted in weight on the drone. So as those things change and as people's kind of what they're shooting changes, some of the tuning may need to be kind of adjusted dependent on that. So don't worry, we'll get you set up. Just kind of follow these steps, get us those logs. Appreciate it. Fly safe, fly smart. You got any questions, just ask. Peace.